Even if someone would say Nginenhliziyo, I would agree with them. I spent 4 years in that space. I have 2 friends. I know 3 people I was doing the same course with. They know me, I do not know them. I failed the module because I didn't want to join a study group. The thing about not being aware and awareness not being raised, you always think it's a you thing.
Yeah.
You do not voice it out.
Yes.
The way I cried, like, it took a while for like, why on a panic attack? Why? What's going on?
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Isaura and you're welcome. If ever you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much and welcome back. In today's episode, I am joined by my sister Busisiwe, Chrisy, Ethel, Sibeko. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. So when is this? Unjani? Ngiyaphila. Thank you so much for taking isikhathi sakho from your busy schedule uzela uzongijoin.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. So can you please tell me ukuthi ubani uChrisy Ethel Sibeko?
Everybody knows who they are until they're asked. Who are they? It's wild. My name is Ethel Sibeko. I'm a mental health advocate.
Yes.
I'm just a girl.
You want to know that, girl? Tell us.
I'm just a girl. Okay, I'm from the East End. I was born in the East End. I am a mental health advocate. Yeah.
That's all. That's all. Let's say ukuthi mina angimazi usubani Ethel. Obviously maybe our viewers abamazi usubani Ethel.
I am outgoing.
Yes.
I am not an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not anything because I do not like to talk to people, and I talk too much for someone who doesn't talk much. And I am a mental health advocate, and a mental health advocate is someone who shares awareness about mental health issues. Everyone can be a mental health advocate.
Yeah.
It is not only professionals, but you can just be one, sharing your experiences or sharing what you know about mental health. It doesn't have to be a fixed thing that you have to learn or like a course.
Yeah.
You just decide to be one if you have the zeal and the passion.
Okay, since we are on that note, so what gave you like the passion to become a mental health? You said mental health advocate. Yeah, what made you to be passionate about that?
Obviously, I didn't know about the term mental health advocate. You know when you have something and you're zealous about it, but you do not know the term. So, especially in Black communities, more like in Emalokshin, you know, Tina, we're in between the richer people and the poor people from the rural areas. So it is more like we have ignorance easily because people from the rural areas believe we know.
Yeah.
And then those who are from the suburbs and stuff believe we do not know. So it is so easy, most Elokshini, to just not know anything because they think you know, they think you do not know.
Yeah.
Especially about mental health, Elokshini, we do not care about that. Like, nituban wenzeni. Like, I think when I would say in a mental health issue or like my mental health is unstable, Elokshini, they will conclude that I'm crazy. Yeah. So I realized ukuthi that brings a humongous gap in us understanding that, especially because you're Black and then you live a Lokshini where you do not have the access to these things.
So okay, thank you so much for like educating us on that because Nama was clueless. So when on your side, ukhona umuntu ozile maybe what okay khona into about mental health or you did your research or like what happened ukuthi uze ube aware was there something called mental health?
So I think I'm a very, like, I consume a lot of content the way I told you.
Yes.
I listen, I read, I watch. So, and I like being self-aware. I'm so self-aware. I mean,
yes.
Even if someone would say in I would agree with them because I know good sometimes.
So you agree about
sometimes, not necessarily, but because I'm aware of myself and I know that to certain people I can come across as a bad person.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, I do not deny myself the space to be aware.
Okay.
So I think I've always known about mental health issues and stuff, but my interest sparked when I realized Uguti, there is something wrong about the way we think. You understand?
Yeah.
Uguti, the way we think is not normal, like in the hood, and we do not give too much attention to that. We do not give too much attention to why are we thinking this way? Why are we acting this way? More like we deal with the actions. Uban uyachonja, uban wenzene, and we do not want to know about the background or the motive. Let me say motive. So I had to search about a mindset of a person, how the mindset works. Like, I've always had interest. If ever I would have a superpower, I would want to have a telepathy so that I can read the minds of people.
Yeah.
So I've always had interest in the minds of people.
Okay.
So I didn't take science, schooling and stuff, you understand?
Yeah.
Uguti, maybe if I did that, I would have been able to embark on psychology and stuff. But since I've been always interested in the mind of a person and the mindset, I did my research, you understand, Uguti? What is there about a mind? What are issues that you could have in your mind? How does a mind work? What are impact of a mindset?
Yeah.
Like, why do people act a certain way? What is the motive? And then that is when I came across that there is a term like mental stability, and you have to be stable mentally. And it is something that I didn't know about. Obviously, I knew LO was funda na grade 10 about.
Yeah, if we funda LO, because what is the thing? When you go PET, yes, exactly. On my Fridays and Mondays.
ELO taught us on a level surface. Mood swings, stress, like it didn't dwell. You can actually struggle mentally, and it gives back to how you act. So in the hood, or in the black society, we're more worried about our physical health, our emotional health, our physical health and spiritual health, all those healths, because everyone knows when they're sick, they go to the clinic, they have access to that. They have access to churches where they get spiritually healthy.
Yes.
But we do not have access to a therapist, a psychologist and stuff. I think when we watched that on TV, we always thought using those understand?
Yeah.
Like, even if you would say to Muntu selection, I suffer from anxiety or depression, like they'll be like, when they just try and invalidate the whole experience that you're experiencing just because they're not aware. So I came about that sparking my interest. I want to know, why are we neglecting this and how deep does it go? Understand?
Yes.
And embarking on that has made me realize that people suffer with that a lot, but they do not have a term for it because they're not aware. So they think, I don't know what they think, but most of them that I've encountered, they've always said, I just thought like stress. I just thought, it's fear. I just thought that I'm different. Because the thing about not being aware and awareness not being raised, you always think, it's a you thing.
Yeah.
You do not voice it out.
Yes.
It's a you thing. If I encountered a guy from the rural areas who suffered from anxiety, ne? And he couldn't voice it out because
Okay.
because there was no space to share that. And every time he feared something bad happening, they would say, I went on I went understand? Goodness stigma. I think there's a lot of stigma around mental health, especially in black societies. You cannot get up munch and tell your parents, I think you need depression. Like, and it is not an intentional thing. If like, that's how they know it.
Depression,
Yeah, that's how they were taught. That's how they grew up. So I felt as if gune gap.
So if you must break your eyes were within now.
Yeah.
So if let's say there's someone there who's watching them, and that person can hear you, like talking with you, mental health is this and that, but still they're clueless with you. What is mental health? So if you can break it down, like to this book, I used to use it when I was still studying. Yeah, my dummies. Maybe if I don't understand something, I will say, what is this and this and this for dummies? So let's say I'm a dummy. Like I'm trying, you're explaining, let's say I'm trying by all means to understand what is Ethel talking about. Like just break down to a level where like I and other people can understand. We must discuss ngalento ethi mental, bese ethi health.
So it is a 2-word thing, mental health, obviously. And then mental is a mentality, the way that you think. It's not the brain, but it's a mentality and a mindset.
Yeah.
A brain is an organ.
Okay. Yes.
And then
educate us, ma'am. Educate.
Mentality is the way that you think, you process things.
Yeah.
And then health, we know health. Everyone knows health. So the way you think cannot be healthy. And we take that upon ourselves. So we take that upon ourselves if we see the way we think or the way we do things, it is not healthy. So mental health is so vital because everything that we do stems from the mind. Yeah, you have to think about it.
Yes.
Even the bigger things, you think about them. Okay, next year I want to do this. But even the smallest things, you want to take this and you want to place it here.
Yeah.
You thought about it. It was in your mind to do it. So that shows how important the mindset is, or the mentality is, because everything that you do has passed from your mind. So if you're doing bad things, they're from your mind. If you have this thing that we speak about so much and everyone knows about it, Ubanban has a low self-esteem, and we take it as if it is just an action, but it is from their mind.
Yes.
So your mental health is the health of your mentality.
Okay.
The health of your mindset.
Yes.
So there are people who are mentally unstable, and then there are people who have a mental stability. And every time I say mentally unstable, people think that I'm saying psychotic or retarded or something like that. You're crazy or you're mad. No, you can be mentally unstable. There are different mental illnesses or mental instabilities, like caused by trauma, mood swings. Some are genetics, anxiety, depression, bipolar, OCD, autism. So Tina, we're familiar by those abane autism, or like, because most of them we say they're slow learners, but most of them, they have autism. That is what we're familiar with, but we're not familiar with the ones that we cannot see on the outside. Which forms of anxiety, social anxiety, OCD, personality disorders, existential crisis, where you find it hard to exist. And I've realized almost everyone suffers from existential crisis because they find it hard to exist. Some people, not mostly, law of probability, not everyone, but some people, they suffer from existential crisis. Like they see, I cannot exist. I find it hard to be a human being. Like it stems from the brain. Even feeling like I do not want to be alive, it stems from the brain. So that shows the importance. I hope I'm clear enough.
Yeah.
It shows the important. So like if I was explaining to a grade 3-year-old, mental health is more about how you think, what you have in your mind, and your emotions, because they also have an impact to the way you think, how you handle your emotions. So as a mental health advocate, we advocate about that. We create a voice about that. We voice it out. If ever you feel as if you do not have one personality, it is okay. If ever you have a compulsive and crippling fear of things, we have a term for it, as anxiety. And I'm so against while I'm explaining, I'm so against people are so aware lately, but in a wrong manner, that they self-diagnose. They use Google to diagnose themselves and give themselves. And it is okay to be aware, but do not self-diagnose yourself, which I have this. Because it invalidates the whole thing. Like our OCD Zanel, like I've came across a lot of people say, oh, my OCD would never. No, you do not have OCD. You're a decent human being. That's how you place things. People say, yo, like if that's OCD. Or like if you get into stripes are parallel, and then basically stripes are vertical. And then that's OCD. No, you're self-diagnosing, and lentole can cause a problem. But Jay, on a general note, it invalidates people who have OCD, because OCD is a real thing where people have a compulsive edge to have everything in order. It does not only affect their spaces, but like they try to have the order of everything. They try to plan everything ahead. They try to do everything ahead. So I want to break it down so that people do not think Kuguti, like when you need to have the OCD. Like they have crippling issues with having order in their life, that they actually have panic attacks when they do not have the order in their lives. They try to have order in certain things that they cannot even control. And I think that also impacts for someone who is Christian, even a stigma if you're a Christian and you have crippling issues with trying to have order in your life, because more like abazali akakholwa why angathembi uNkulunkulu ukuthi uzomenzela lento, ayazama ukuzenzela, you understand? So like even a stigma. Also, like, for example, people like have mood swings and they conclude, bipolar. No, do not self-diagnose. Do not self-diagnose, because it also affects your stability mentally, because you will believe that you have bipolar, and which is going to lead you acting in a bad way, compulsively, thinking go to bipolar. You understand? Like you just have mood swings. Bipolar is so intense and it is ongoing. Like it is a chronic thing. Mood swing, you can be fine now, and like it was changed by something. Obviously, like you're moody because something happened. People who have bipolar, they barely have control of how they feel or how they have moods. Like now they're happy and the next minute they're not. Even something didn't trigger them. So if you mood swing boyfriend bipolar, invalidate the actual person who have a bipolar, because we become so familiar with the word that we do not take it seriously anymore. Like we're like, bipolar, which is invalidate umuntu has the actual problem of mood swings, the chronic disease of mood swings, where they have the crippling like hate for everything. They hate themselves. They have thoughts to do bad things to people, to do bad things to themselves, because they do not have control to themselves. More like Kumuntati, I have anxiety. No, you're just scared. It is okay to have a fear about certain things.
Yeah.
You're scared. You go to your body test.
Besutune anxiety.
Like, I'm not invalidating that.
So differentiate between between anxiety noma umuntu stress. About to understand better. Yeah.
The anxiety is ongoing. Okay, there are types of anxiety, social anxiety, a lot of them, like certain things that makes you to have chronic fear.
Okay.
So the difference between the stress and the fear is that, like, it is triggered by something. If you're stressed by something, and when it actually happens, you turn out fine. So stress is more like a short-term thing.
Yeah.
Which has a reason why you're stressed. And then anxiety. Uba nale stress lesi wena uba naso for no reason and for the longest time, and they fear everything.
So it's like a disease anyway. Do we take it like that?
Yeah, it's a mental health disorder. Like, they take amapilisi for that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought it's only Amanda depressed by anxiety.
Yeah. If you're depressed, it is bound for you to have anxiety. But also, that does not mean you'll be diagnosed with anxiety just because you are depressed. So depression is more like you lose vitality.
Okay.
Like, you lose your will to be alive. You do not want to be alive. Like, I am trying to explain this in the simplest terms.
Yeah, and
not
it's
like
simple
the way
enough,
Google defines.
Yeah.
Because Google defines so deeply and then iba vague.
Yes.
So people who have depression, they have lost vitality or their will to be alive. They do not have energy. So it differs from Ugutuena. You do not have energy because you're tired or you're stressed about something. You understand? Abantu who have a depression, they're not looking forward to anything. You understand? They think in a way because they do not have vitality to be alive. They're not looking forward to being alive. They're not doing things that will make them alive.
They end up taking their lives.
Yes, because they lost the vitality, which is the will to be alive.
Oh, okay. So since we're on that note, the depression and stuff, then when you come like to a certain let's say banding a church, like Tina is like included ongomuntu or to we are cons. Mental health ne sibhekela phansi okanjani, because sometimes angisho yazi most of the time umuntu masibulala nami nje I'm including myself nokuthi hayi angena idemon or something. So wena as a mental health advocate ungathini based on that? Let's say there's a Christian abona ukuthi life is difficult, I might just end it. Then Tina we come to hayi angena idemon bazalwane, do you understand? So or it was because like we did not give that person maybe a chance ukuthi akhale or besingampeki ukuthi besingamonitor ukuthi kahle le muntu lo ayekho sharp.
It is so controversial. But I think most of us as Christians, we suffer from irreligious psychosis.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
What is that?
Irreligious psychosis angifuni kuyichacha.
Uzobuya for session number 2.
Irreligious psychosis, but I feel as if we suffer from irreligious psychosis, then we based everything and we box it down to like it has to be spiritual.
Yes.
And if ever you would say someone is over spiritual, and they will argue to say, yeah, because you're Christian, that's how you should think. It has to do with God.
Yes.
Yeah. And then,
yeah.
So in a stigma, there's a lot of stigma around a community of the church.
Yes.
The community of the church is so unbalanced.
And obviously we are both Christians.
Giving reviews.
Yeah.
Like, I feel as if you want to solve something, you have to give the honest truth.
Yes.
Do not fear controversy. Like, everyone has a controversial thing to say, to do. You know what I like?
Yeah.
I like to annoy people by saying controversial stuff. Like, if you love a dog, I'm like, dogs are annoying. Just because I want to move you. Because you have to be moved so that you understand the perspective of other people.
Yes.
You cannot think to war right them.
Exactly.
You understand? You have to respect other people. So back to the church, like there is a stigma around the church about certain things, and we're so quickly to conclude ukuthi if ever umuntu bathu sesibhedlela on a depression akakhulekelo and ahlale emthandazweni because they're not doing it correctly. Which is so false if ever we're going to hide that away.
Yeah.
Elijah, at a certain point, he sits at a mountain and says, kill me. Yeah, after everything. It's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I do not want to be alive anymore. I feel as if I've encountered a lot. And then please, may I die? Like, he was not saying this to people. He was speaking to God himself. So we have our own religion where we act as if depression is outside of being Christian. Like, we sideline it to you cannot go through this. That is the reason, even if counseling, even if you would go out and try to find a stat, there are not a lot of people who seek counseling. Even if there's a counselor inside the church, they do not go there.
They don't go there.
Yeah, they just call. Hey, they do not try and deal with the issue.
Yeah.
So it could be uguti vele itimon uguti uzbulalile ne, because you shouldn't think like that and you shouldn't do that because murder is a sin. You understand?
Yes.
But we do not give it a thought. Uguti, there was certain stuff that led to that. There's a certain mentality that led to that. You understand?
Yes.
So after Lapo, Elijah says, I want to die. God didn't say anything. Like, he just gave him water and food. And then he slept. And then he woke up. That outlines, Uguti, sometimes, Tina, we try and fix people with our own strength. Like, I think I want to kill myself. Yo, bazongithandazela bangikhuze bathi yes sizokushaya. You understand? Hey, you need demon. Like, but I think I love that moment so much. Like, even if Naming feels if I lose vitality, I think of Elijah so much and that encounter. Because like, he was so validated. Uguti, I understand how tired you are, just sleep. Yeah, and then we'll deal with it tomorrow. So we have so much stigma, and then we think that suicidal people are demonic. And I'm not saying people who kill themselves are demonic. But there is more to it. There is more to how people think. There is more to how people feel. And if ever you're at the verge of killing yourself, surely, if ever you do not have the awareness and the support, it is bound to happen. Imagine if umuntu have body dysmorphia, which is another type of mental health issue, where people hate their body so much. Understand? Like, they hate it. They wear baggy clothes. They do not want to go out. they think they're ugly and stuff. It's more beyond chronic. It is more like you have chronic low self-esteem. You loathe yourself. You loathe how you look.
Yeah.
So if ever that could be that deep, imagine umuntu ofuna ukufa could be how deep in that feeling. Like if ever you can hate your body that you do not wear anything that you want to wear, you try and wear baggy clothes. Imagine umuntu who lost the vitality and think their life is void.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Uguti? It is so deep and so broad. Uguti, it can be only stamped out or branched by Uguti. Like bekangenwa itimon. Understand? Itimoni limgene why? Because like there was a gap of losing vitality. You understand?
Then such an opportunity.
Yes. So not like very timon like tola uhappy lit. You understand? Like it stems up from a gap. I think that's why Guguna verse in the Bible that says do not fear. Because God understands ukuthi fear is real.
Yes.
Like cast my anxieties to me. Cast your anxieties to me, so because he understands ukuthi anxiety is real.
Yeah.
So tina angazi ukuthi stigma sibuyaphi in the church ukuthi
there's
mental health issues are not real. Like even Jesus said, "Hey Anna, angikho sure ukuthi ngifuna ukuyofa permanently anymore." like it is big biblical. He said, "Yo, I do not think I want to do this anymore."
Yes.
So what about you? Like who has a human body, who is not made out of God? Obviously, it is bound, Uguti, you will have certain times where you feel like I do not want to do this anymore. I do not think I want to do this anymore. So I think the church should be aware of this and create spaces that are worth.
Yeah, we should educate ourselves about mental health.
That are so inclusive.
Yeah. So I hear you, Miss. So coming back to you, Futina. I'm sure mental health, we're a mental health advocates, as you said, Uti. If maybe you knew you had this thing, maybe you even like took subjects back in high school that go along with this thing. Even does, and I'm sure it's not even too late now. So when you told us what made you to become like to focus on mental health, but now tell us now, what's like on your side personally, what are challenges that have affected you like mentally? It's now too much. Then I'm sure that's when we decided to step up, learn about this and educate others. So what is that challenge? Which you know what you need to educate yourself when it comes to this game.
I love how you structured this question previously.
Yeah.
Oguti, what was my perspective previously as a child about mental health?
Yes.
And what is my perspective now?
Yeah.
So in life, understanding is on the other side of affiliation. Understanding is on the other side of experiences.
Yes.
I learned that the hard way. Ungakhulumi into ongayazi.
Okay. Point taken.
Yeah. Now I'm very big on saying understanding is on the other side of affiliation.
Yeah.
Since we're Christians, when labantu labaya beza kuJesu, I think it is with the encounter after Judas sold or something, and then Peter was singing lebe.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, but try like you understand? He didn't understand why babu is selling lebe.
Yeah.
It was like, it could never be me. Because affiliation is on the understanding is on the other side of affiliation.
Yes.
Understanding is on the other side of experiences. We could be experiencing the same thing but in a different manner. Like you could be well aware of a certain situation, but if you have never experienced it, like into ikulumayo, right now, but it's more like a void. And now I get people when bokuluma nabumuntu ati yaza understand and like you try and force it. But now I understand that affiliation is on the other understanding is on the other side after affiliation. So after that, Peter, I think, understood better after he was restored, after apige uJesu 3 times. Ukuthi, like what is grace? Understand?
Yeah.
What is mercy? So Nami, before I experienced mental health issues, I just had, even if I was not a critic or even if I didn't have a stigma, but I didn't understand it so much that the way I understood it after I experienced it, there's a book by Uprini, I forgot the name, but the name is Daring Greatly. That stay to good team. If ever you are ashamed of seeking help, it means good you shame the people who seek help subconsciously. If ever when you do not want to ask for help, like you have some pride nyana and you think it is so shameful to say I'm struggling, it means when you shame people who seek help. Because why ungafuni ukusiza abantu if wena uthi uyasizana? You understand?
Yes.
So when I started, like, I just love how I'm showing up as a progress, because also imperfectionism will convince you that do not show up as like ungakaqedi, do not show up, you're not ready yet, do not show up, do not say this, like do not do this. I'm glad that I'm saying this and I'm in progress of doing it.
Yes.
You know, Guti, okay, as a child I didn't understand mental health issues. As a teenager I was aware of mental health issues.
Yes.
And then after Lapo, I was aware and I was interested in mental health issues. Now I'm experiencing mental health issues firsthand.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different because when I didn't have an encounter with affiliation. I always, anxiety, I validated that, but I tried to force people into, nawe iba right, man. Like, nawe zama, like, show up, do something, understand?
Yes.
More like I was doing this thing, which I'm called to do, leaning to my own understanding. And then, manje, God is showing me, your understanding is not enough.
Yeah.
You should understand, I'm the one who helps people. You're not the one who is helping people. Because when you think you're the one who is helping people, it's
in
and so I understand why Moses before baboni ihlahla ezitshayo bahamba. So I understand why Moses before baboni ihlahla ezitshayo bacale ba escape, so that they do not lean to their own understanding. They know how to be a refuge. They know how to be a fugitive. I mean, like Moses knew running away after. Ayolanda abantwana baka-Israel Egypt, because he flee before. So now I'm in the stage of I flee. Because I think I had, even if it was so subconscious, but like I just shamed people because I didn't want to seek help when I struggled. I didn't want to show up to the arena. I stopped creating content about mental health issues because I felt as if, how can I say something about something that I'm struggling? And which was me taking away from the whole thing of being a mental health advocate. Because manje angisafuni ukukhuluma nabantu because I'm struggling. Should mina bengibajaja abantu abastruggle and should mina bengicabanga ukuthi ngiperfect. Ngi-right for ukubatshela because mina I know better. Like in life ne.
That's in combis.
Life will prove to you ukuthi you knew something as a theory, not factually. You have to know it factually now. I understand.
Yes.
I've always struggled with interacting with people socially. This is going to be cathartic, but I've always struggled with interacting with people socially, like with people, having friends. You understand, existing in social spaces, and I think people will say,
that means
because they think she's outgoing. Yeah, but we are cool. We are and stuff. But I feel as if at some point I started to struggle, especially during my first year in varsity, where I knew no one and I had to create it. So I realized the people I knew them because it was obligation. I knew you from church. Like not like I formed the connection for myself. Obviously I had an impact. It would have been a connection, but it was more like obligated because I saw you more like every day or once in a week or twice in a week. When I had to start myself, Mina. I spent 4 years in that space. I have 2 friends. I know 3 people I was doing the same course with. They know me. I do not know them. I failed the module because I didn't want to join study group because being a buzz.
Then second time Uma so ipinda, what happened?
I did it myself.
Group nix.
I'm my group because I don't know. I have a crippling fear of being seen and being heard. Like a crippling goatee. Like even when I walk, I'm straight to where I'm going, and then I go back straight to where I was going, and still, I'm struggling also with the social anxiety, which that is more like something I had to see with myself. But Minanje, I've suffered more with the anxiety. I remember this one time I left a calculator by financial accounting. Do you know Guti bebanga pandeli calculator? Do you know that? But when I was in fear and like that was the time I was diagnosed. Well, you to know you should come back. I do not think this is normal. I do not think this is normal. But when I mean, also the situation marks are out. It had me on my knees. Like if ever and I would sleep for 2 days straight, not waking up, and then hot water bottle because I didn't want to wake up because I had so much fear of failure.
And it was not the end of you.
And I had so much anxiety that I was scared to sleep. Which sounds
this is
stupid because what will kill you? Understand? But like I had that fear and I knew okay, fine. You understand? I'm struggling being self-aware is not nice.
Like the mental health now, it's
you know what you're struggling with. Understand? I think it is more cute when like you look at it spiritually because I told myself I'm experiencing what God is equipping me to understand certain people when they go through certain things. Understand? I mean, I know I have never been depressed. I think okay, that lady said I have a seasonal anxiety, like seasons.
I
get scared. Right. and then I get scared. You see, Maj, I'm not doing anything. Like, what if I do not amount to anything? What if all my abilities become nothing? I think it is more going back to the question, Uguti. When you experience something personally, you learn not to say anything about certain things you do not know.
Yeah.
You learn to give people space to exist. You learn to understand certain people. You learn to not judge people. Understand? You learn to not try and impose or project your beliefs to other people.
Yes.
For example, I've also had so much personality disorder issues where like I couldn't find the real personality I wanna have. My personality. Understanding. And then like I just realized it's okay, fine. I can be all of them. Understand?
Yeah.
And which has made me grow, because if ever I didn't go through that, I wouldn't understand if someone says yeah, because I would conclude, we people. Why I change why I change mabala? We understand. So like me understanding mental health issues on a factual form and not on a theoretical form has been like the most hard but wonderful thing that I've encountered in my life, because like, okay, during it was not cute, but man, okay, cool. Understand?
Yeah.
Especially when I couldn't tell people that I'm struggling. And people ask me, EP content, is it funny content? Kanti ngifunda kwezami. You know how people learn from their own.
Yeah.
Like people will learn from their own things. Umuntu ufunda kwezakhe. So like when people ask me, EP content, content
because content, EP content,
which was valid because angisho ngintsukele ngathi so it was more like mina I'm ashamed of something that I talk about, meaning that I was shaming people subconsciously, because I would never shame anyone intentionally about something that I'm raising awareness about. But I think it is more about learning so that you can grant grace to people. You know how they say, like, you suffer so that the great thing can be revealed, so that you understand people. People who have slept hungry, they understand more about food. Understand?
Yeah.
So I felt as if that was a thing for me to understand certain things, to understand that you show up even if you're not perfect. Like there is no shame for those who are rooted. If ever you're rooted, there is no shame in you. No one can shame you in the things that you've said.
Yes.
Like if ever ngasho manje ukuthi okay nginento nje nanje angeke ungihleke because isho yimo yenza joke about it. So there is no joke in that. So manje I understand also when someone says I struggle a lot and I cannot disclose it, I understand how they feel. Like they do not know where to start and what to say, because ubangathanda attention nyana athuna signaye nyana why usitshela ngezinto esingazi-understand. Manje I can give people space in the room, but previously I would have said, like, I would have tried to embark on it more like according to the theory, according to the book. You should be able to voice what you feel. You should be able, like, if you need help, you should seek it. But it is the right thing, but more like you're forcing people because you've never experienced it. More like now I understand it's a journey more than I understood. So it is more like I'm growing and I'm still ready. I'm going to grow because growth is like that. It is not linear.
So, this thing in mental health is deep. It's not enough. It's not enough. So I think you'll be coming back for a second session. At least one. Maybe anxiety or depression. But then before we close, like, what are habits that you do? Okay, what habits do you have to take care of your mental health? Maybe so that you can know, so that I can be aware. What should I do to take care of a mental health? Yeah.
20 yaba manje personal kakhulu and mina ngithanda ukuba personal yaba i-podcast yakho. 2023 was more like a turning surface for me, or more like I sprouted from what I planted of myself, because 2022 2021, understand?
2023.
Yeah. 2022 I was struggling.
Yeah.
It was when I failed my modules. I too, man.
Yeah.
And also, you know what was causing me anxiety? It was academic validation. Yeah, but when you leap or you lean on towards the academic validation, and then you cannot validate. Like I start validating, or my marks are validate. Also, when you tell it 27 out of 100, what's there to validate?
Yes.
Which was something that, like, yangihlanyisa ngabani ukuthi manje ngiyahlanya ngempela, because mina mentally I believed ukuthi I'm great academically. So I felt as if mina, the whole me, my entire existence, she could smell sengdomnyana. You understand how I felt.
Yeah.
So, but with what helped me in 2023 was like change of attitude, my babe. Change it. Like, you're not a Superman. So I believe if ever you're going through certain things, you should be able to change your attitude.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yes.
Change the way that you think. Change your attitude towards everything, towards everything that is in your life. Try not be positive, because sometimes we force people to be so positive, like believe it.
Yeah.
I hate my motivation so much. I just think you should be real. Yes, you should be optimistic. Obviously, you should be positive, but be real with yourself. Be real with how you feel. Be real with your own struggles. Be aware of what triggers you. Be aware of what you do not like. Be aware of what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Be aware of those things. Self-awareness is so important. Also, I journal because it is so easy for me to journal, to write. I write a lot. I write. So people who can write, I advise them to write. Listen to music that is so relatable to you. Listen to podcasts that do not pressure you. Like, avoid certain things that bring you pressure. Avoid, if ever you feel like you're stagnant, avoid about Instagram, because they're going to make you feel like that's how when's the next in your life. Like, know your triggers, not specifically social media, but know your triggers and avoid your triggers, so that you can be better. And then find like something more like a hobby, but more like of art, like artistry. I feel as if helps you to be happy. Like, when you create something, like, you gain vitality back, because you realize that you're able to create something, and then maybe your span is worth it. Like, you're worth existence. You're worth to be here. So find something that you're going to create. And then journaling, exercising, finding peer support, talking about your struggles, understanding that there is no shame, because you don't know how many people suffer from what you're suffering. For as long as you know, maybe 90% of your circle is suffering with what you're struggling with. And then later you can find belonging and solace, and then it is not heavy as it was anymore. So, like, try and open up and find peer support. And then seek professional help. Like, I'm so against people self-diagnosing themselves. Seek, because maybe right anxiety or depression or whatever, or OCD, but how does it help if you're away and you don't know what to do about it? Understand? And we know sometimes Google understand? So seek professional help. I think there is professional help, that we do not try and seek it. If ever you would go to hospital, like public hospitals, and say, "Hey, I feel like this and like this," they'll tell you to stress, and like you'll find professional help.
Yeah.
I know for us people who are not well off, we do not have a therapist or a psychologist where like they serve us as a family, but try and seek professional help.
Yeah.
Like even if goes over in then go to toilet, but there is a way to help.
Yeah.
There is like a route to help. Seek professional help, know how deep your problem is, and then pray, Hashem. And I'm not talking about prayer like quote verse or like sick. I've learned how the Holy Spirit is so honest with you. If you do not want to be honest with the Holy Spirit, it will not be honest with you. Like if you have honest prayers with yourself, the Holy Spirit will intercede. But the word says the Holy Spirit intercedes for us.
Yeah, no,
like it will intercede the way when you feel. Like be honest, like God, I'm so scared about this. I do not think it is normal anymore. God, I feel as if I don't want to be alive. God, I feel as if I hate certain people from my past. Like I feel as if I'm traumatized. Like because another problem with the church is that we have like this mask that we show spiritually, and then you're struggling mentally, and then you are feeling content and you're like, oh we are, because the Holy Spirit will touch you, and then you go back home because you're not dealing with the root specifically. So pray prayers that will help you deal with the root specifically. Yes. There are more things that you can do that
yeah.
But I advise those to be aware, like journal, find peer support, avoid self-diagnosing, seek professional help if you feel that it is beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Avoid feeling shame, avoid trying to be perfect. Be on your side, like stand for how you feel, stand for your own truth, no matter how controversial it may sound. Stand for your own truth. Like if ever you feel as if certain people are triggering you, set those boundaries. Because at the end of the day, you will exist once. Like you would not have another version of you. Angas, but you reincarnate, but angas. So you have this version of you this time. So, like, stand for your own truth. There is no shame in struggling mentally.
Yeah.
No shame.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I think she must, like, it's a need for her to come back and have a session on her own. Just stay, like, Abela, and talk to you guys. Because as I'm learning a lot from her as well. But then before we close, there's a lovely lady who was like, please ask Usis Ethel this question, because like she's struggling on her side. So Uti, how to deal with social anxiety? So she feels as if she has social anxiety, and sometimes she made an example. Wati, maybe let's say Uti, a church, she's part of a youth, even though she's standing with people in front, but Uti, when they start singing, she sweats like nobody's business. Understand? So Uti, just help her, Uti, how to deal with that social anxiety.
I think Uti, there will not be a strictly answer, because I'm still also dealing with the social anxiety on my own. Like when I'm a coco to muntunga that's how bad. Like makoko to ubani. Because I do not want to greet them. So I understand how she feels. Like I validate how she feels, and I feel as if like different, or there's something wrong with her. Like it happens. You may struggle to interact with people socially. I think she must find her grounds. If ever she feels as if like it says unmanageable, if like she doesn't need professional help. She must find her grounds, be rooted in them, understand herself, give herself space to exist, be able to accept I think I'm weird in a kind of manner. Because another thing that has to do with social anxiety is thinking that people or like they see that I'm weird, or like they look at me and think, hey, so like you must tell yourself that people do not care about you.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've realized. As much as we give them too much. Like people don't care. Like they care when they see you because backbone. But at most instances, people are thinking about their own thing. So now, but do not be too filled into people socially.
Yeah.
But me now, one thing that has helped me was existing socially, virtually. You know, I have a virtual character. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I have a virtual character. Like things I do like virtually on social media. I have a personality, like a humongous personality that if ever I would have to impersonate Mina, like Manj, I would cry because so like you must try and exist virtually. That's what has helped me and a lot of people trying to exist virtually. That closes the gap of not of having issues socially, and then because the more you get used to it, and then you impersonate that.
Yes.
But for some people do not like social media the way I do. So you just have to find a character virtually where you create yourself more like a cartoon that you look up to and you believe that. I know good thing, but it helps. Like more like a cartoon, and you believe like that and you act like that. Like you find that space, you exist in that space.
Yes.
Like let people know you like that.
Yeah.
And then you will realize that people take you as you are. People accept you the way that you are. People who like you, they do not care about what you do. They like you to that extent. So like to try and tackle social anxiety, find your own people who will be able to calm you when you're with people, but also have acceptance and try to exist in other spaces the way that you want to exist. And then if ever you're not judged, that validates what you're actually worth being in certain spaces. And avoid being in social spaces just because you want to get the social anxiety. No. If we are sabukuma phambili, try and do something that maybe tell other people to go and say this for you, and then when you get the reception, obviously it's going to motivate you. Yeah, this is how you do it. But if ever I can understand it, they can like contact me personally so that I take them through and I share my experiences personally.
Yeah, I was about to come like to that. If people, YouTube is still on, right? Yeah, it's just good. It's on hold for now.
It's on hold.
Yeah, so we'll leave some of the information here, Chrisy, like on the screen, then so that you can go follow her and subscribe. She has a YouTube channel whereby like she, talks about mental health issues like all through. So you will not be getting any vlogs or stuff. You'll just be getting knowledge. So please do subscribe. And Sissy, if ever, there are people maybe different churches, they want to book you. It's called booking English or invite. I don't know. Yeah. If I want to invite her maybe to their churches, how do they go about? Should they come like directly or go via someone?
Like they can come to me directly.
Please share my details are cool with them. Maybe Facebook, Instagram, TikTok if you have.
I do not respond to people on Facebook. People
don't come to Facebook. Please don't come to Facebook.
So drop Instagram handle.
Okay. That will work, right? Yeah, then follow her as well. Go. What is this? Go YouTube. Please follow. Don't watch. Then you hamba. subscribe. Like, we are begging you for our subscriptions. But anyway, we've come to the end of our podcast. It's a long one, so she needs to she has to come back for session number 2, whereby she'll be here alone talking to us, you understand? But if you know what you've watched all this far and you haven't hit that subscribe button, please clear Rebecca for you to hit that subscribe button. Got the S for me, Isaura Mahlalela. I will see you on my next one. Kodwa anginishiyi kanjalo. Usisi wethu, sis Chrisy, will just like tell us only for 5 to 10 minutes something nje abone ukuthi isifanele of our mental health, obviously. Then sizoyivala kanjalo ke. But as for mina, I will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye bye.
So thank you guys for watching. I know that everything I've said is too much and maybe too cathartic and other information too vague, too hard to understand, because mental health is so broad that you can understand in a one go. But thank you so much for watching, and I just wanted to remind you that the nicest thing about life is that you just exist the way you want to and the way you know how. So there is no pressure for you to exist a certain way. Like, there is no manual for you to live in a certain way. Just try and be the kind of a person that you are. Know your triggers, know yourself, know what you want to do, know what you want to become. Understand that in life you are a progress. Like, you can never be a full product. Live in the moment, because if ever you're worried about the destination, when you get there, you'll realize that there is nothing there. Grass is not greener on the other side. So yeah, that's what I have to tell you, that be aware of yourself, be aware of your triggers, be self-aware, try to work on yourself. This is you for once. The way that you work on yourself physically, and you go to the gym, you eat healthy, you pray spiritually, like, work on yourself emotionally, know your triggers so that you grow emotionally. You cannot spend 5 years being triggered by the same thing. Like, learn to master that. Learn to master mental challenges. Try to be mentally stable, because at the end of the day, you're not only what you eat, but you're also what you think. You're also what you think. If you think a certain way, you end up acting a certain way. If you think you're not worth it, we may not see it, but definitely in a long run, you will act like you're nothing. If ever you think you're not vital, we may not see your thoughts, but at the end of the day, you will not have boundaries and you will act in a way that is not vital. So yeah, I hope it made so much sense. I hope you'll enjoy the video. I hope I was not vague. Thank you.